officiating decisions. What did LeBron even do?
Top story in the NBA last night, Lakers-Pistons. Lakers were trailing midway through the third quarter when LeBron James caught Isaiah Stewart with an elbow to the head while boxing out. Stewart, look at him. Look, could not be contained with his face bloodied. He tried going after LeBron. Both guys ended up getting ejected. Lakers rallied from down 12 at that point to win the game, but the focus after still all on the scuffle.
Everyone in the league knows LeBron not a dirty guy. That's nearly hit him. As soon as he did it, he looked back at him and told him, "Oh, my bad, I didn't try to do it." And he tried to, I don't know what he was trying to do, but I know nobody on our team, 1 through 15, was having it. You know, we're going to protect our brother. I've never, in 10 years, seen a player try to do that. Well, since I've been playing, I mean, obviously we've seen it before, but back in the day. But in recent basketball, like, it was uncalled for. You know, you got cut above your eye, accidental, like, you know, it wasn't on purpose. And, you know, we wasn't gonna allow him to keep charging our brother like that. Like, I don't know what he was trying to do.
Hey, Broussard, you think LeBron should be suspended for what happened last night, the elbow to Isaiah Stewart?
I don't, Jenna. I honestly don't think LeBron intended to hit him like that. I think he was trying to get away. You can see their arms were locked. They're boxing out. Their arms are locked. And he did it with force. Maybe, you know, he meant to let him know, look, man, get off me. But I think he accidentally caught him the way he did on the mouth and in the eye. I don't think he meant anything. And like AD said, even right afterwards, LeBron went up to, after Stewart falls, he's going toward him to apologize. Hey, you all right? I ain't mean that, whatever he's saying to him. And so I think for that reason, and as AD said, LeBron is his 19th year in the league. He does not have anything close to a history of being a dirty player. That's just not what he does. And so I don't think he should get suspended. I can see how someone might look at what he did as intentional. All right, but because of his track record, because of how he reacted immediately after, I don't think it was. And a flagrant 2 was warranted. That's an automatic ejection, even though I don't think it was intentional. To me, that's enough for what LeBron did. He missed that game yesterday. They were down big. They could have easily lost that game. That's punishment enough to me for what he did. Isaiah Stewart, Nick, I think he should get 2 games at least. Because the league has to send a message to him and other players that you cannot escalate things like this. I get it. It's unfortunate. He's the one that got hit. He's the one that got cut, probably has stitches. I understand all that. But the way he escalated it, it could have gotten very ugly and very dangerous. And then he's running around the tunnel trying to get to LeBron from the other, side of the court. I mean, he was out of control. He's got to be better, and the league needs to send him and others a message.
Right, the most exciting tunnel activity in an NBA game since, remember, I think it was Clippers-Rockets, Chris Paul. There was a big tunnel thing after he left the Clippers on the Rockets. They thought they were going to remember that. So, listen, the Isaiah Stewart thing was a guy who it seemed to just temporarily lose his mind. I think it was once he tasted his own blood or felt it, he was incensed, and no one was calming him down. Now, I think 1 game would be fine because he would be suspended for really not doing anything. You would already be suspending him for what could have happened, because I understand what you're saying. It could have gotten ugly. But he didn't hit anybody. He didn't punch anybody. He didn't hurt anybody. So I think a 1-game suspension for Isaiah Stewart would send the message. On LeBron, so there's a number of factors here. First of all, glad to know all the folks at Broussard's barbershop that tell him, LeBron couldn't play in the physical 80s. Yeah, he could. Found out last night. Wham! Bammo. He was fine. Isaiah Stewart did the worst for it. So that's, first of all, tell the friends at the barbershop that. Second of all is this. Guy's been in the league 19 years. This is his first flagrant 2. His track record must matter here. We can't live in a world, sports or otherwise, where it doesn't matter at all what you have built up over your career. whether it's somebody who has a bad turn of phrase on television, whether it's an athlete who has a bad moment, we need to be able to look at and say, do they have a history of this type of behavior? LeBron's been ejected once, one other time ever in his career, and it was for yelling at a ref. Nothing like this. So I do think AD is right that the players around the league know LeBron's not dirty. With that said, Wilds, a lot of times in sports and in life, you get penalized for the result more than the action. I think the action was reckless but not dirty. But the result was so damaging, and then plus Isaiah Stewart went so crazy, I don't think a suspension would be outrageous. I also don't think it's in the NBA's best interest. Yeah, if they don't suspend LeBron, there'll be mean tweets about how the king has the whole thing rigged. But if they do suspend LeBron, then he doesn't get to play at all this year at Madison Square Garden on national TV Tuesday against the Knicks. I know it shouldn't matter, but it does matter. And I think it's in the league's best interest to fine him and look the other way. But if he gets suspended one game and Isaiah Stewart gets suspended one game, I don't think that's a terrible job by the league, even though I don't think LeBron was trying to hit him in the face. I do think he was trying to get him off him, like Broussard said, but I don't think he was trying to hit him in the face. I think LeBron's built up enough equity over the last 19 years for us to know he wasn't trying to hit him in the face.
Yeah, the problem is with Broussard's theory is this little graphic that we have in the corner here, actually the opposite corner, things are mirrored for me. You can't suspend the guy on the right and not suspend the guy on the left. You have to suspend. You can't suspend the guy who is covered in blood. If one guy is getting suspended, it can't be the guy covered in blood. You can't do it if you're in the league office. And look, Isaiah Stewart deserves some sort of suspension, Broussard. I think you're right for escalating this. But that means LeBron is going to have to be suspended for the game at Madison Square Garden. I don't think the league wants to do it, but I think you have to. You have to. You can't give the victim of the incident the suspension and the aggressor go off scot-free. You just can't do it. It just makes no sense. I'm covered in blood. You can't suspend me and not the guy that hit me in the face and eye, it looks like.
Okay, I hear you, Wilds. But because he went so crazy, all right, and because, look, Nick said it shouldn't matter, but it's LeBron James and it's Isaiah Stewart. And that's life. You could do it. So you could do it. There'll be a little uproar, but at the end of the day, it's LeBron James and it's Isaiah Stewart. LeBron didn't mean to do it. Isaiah went ballistic. You could get away with it.
And I want to say one thing, because I know
early on, but you'll be all right.
Nikola Jokic and Nuggets fans are going to say I'm a total hypocrite. I have a double standard because I crushed Jokic for what he did, and I'm not doing the same to LeBron. I want to be very clear here. I look at what Jokic did to Markieff Morris, who, by the way, Wilds reminded us an hour ago during the break, is now out for an extended period of time due to the injury from Jokic's obviously intentional dirty play. There was no basketball move involved there whatsoever. LeBron has no history of beef with Isaiah Stewart. They're tangled up at the free throw line, and LeBron, I think, did something. He was doing too much there. He went too far. But that is, to me, in a totally different category from someone during a dead ball situation running up to a guy who's not looking at him and shoving him. So I think that does give us a little bit of context for Jokic got 2 games for that. So I would think the maximum LeBron could get is 1, and I wouldn't be shocked because of the circumstance of who they play. It's on national TV and his history, Jenna, if he gets 0.
Lakers went on to win this game, by the way, a game they trailed substantially. All right, time for